Hey, Natasha with the Day with Ethel vlog. So, in Flawless Perfection series, I was a huge fan of the side characters. Yes, Noah and Garrett's story is one of those stories that's just, it is flawless. But I always wondered what the side characters, Sawyer and Kurt's story. I always wondered what Sawyer was dealing with as the roommate of Noah. And Kurt, he's this famous rocker, and they're living together, and these two kind of like pick at each other at all times, and they have some funny, like, always trying to get the next person's stories. And I kept thinking, if these two ever had a story, it's going to be perfection. Well, we have Tempting Perfection by Kristin. It is absolutely perfect in so many ways. And there's a quote in there that it pretty much is the story of these two. It is, together we're explosive, apart we are miserable. And this is truly the story, because Sawyer and Kurt, when they were back in California, hooked up. But then they go back to the East Coast, and they Sawyer thought there was going to be more to this relationship, and Kurt's like, I can't get close, I can't fall in love, because, this is what his dad and his mom's relationship was. It was toxic, and they could never, his mom was constantly in sorrow that their dad left. But Sawyer just wanted someone to love her, because we always thought her family was perfect, and she had this great family of, parents and a brother. Now her brother is amazing, her parents not so much, and we get the backstory, and we kind of see this kind of like sadness that she's been dealing with for so long. But Kurt doesn't know if he wants to get close, but then he does get close, and he has feelings he's never had before, and they're on tour in a bus, and they have to share their space. Now they've shared their space in their apartment, but now they have to share their space in a tour bus, and those tour buses are small. And these two kind of see where their relationship's going as friendship, but he starts to notice that he needs Sawyer. He needs that constant connection with her, and vice versa. Sawyer needs that connection from Kurt. And I think they just kind of like fall into this pattern of like, what to do until finally they do get together. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, because there's one area where Sawyer has to break down and tell Kurt something, and their reaction and then the way they tell everybody else throughout the story is pretty damn funny, because nobody really knows the right way to announce certain things, and the way this couple announces their stuff, I have never laughed so hard in my life, because they could never get it right. They could never get the perfect moment to reveal. But I think what's also best is this couple they fell in love when they weren't gonna fall in love. And Kurt was never going to do something, and he did it. Vice versa, these two they're combustible together, and it's a combustible that is beautiful, and it's emotional. There's a couple scenes in here that really, when I was laughing, then I was crying, and then I was swooning. And I think that's why I really love Kristin Meyer's stories, is because she does tell these beautiful stories. And there's an amazing dog in there named George that is fabtabulous. That dog, he's one of those dogs that you fall in love with, because just in his own little cameos in the story really brings to life what these two can really do together. And again, we get another side characters, and these side characters kind of bring the story full circle. And we also get to see Noah and Garrett and how they're doing, and how they kind of help and guide this couple back, and not just them, but just everybody in the band. Again, this is one of my 5 stars. I'm so glad I read this at the beginning of the year, because I don't know what's gonna happen next, because this is one of my favorite books, and I hope in December, I can tell you again, you guys have to get this book. It is Tempting Perfection by Kristin Meyer. Love it.